Beep, 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 beep. Morning, Monday. Hello, how are you? Right, okay. Good evening to Canadians, Americans, and whatever time of the day it is in your world where you live. So, hello. How much the Jester enjoys when he has some solid news and breaking exclusives. So I'm taking this one, right? Okay, bloody hell, it's cold this morning. Right, first things first, subscribe, buy me a coffee if you can help out. End of the month's coming. God. Right, okay, so buy me a coffee can help out. And also, come and be a warrior teacher. Usual stuff. Everything else you need to know is going to be in the video. There's no links in the Dubris today. That's a first for a while. The only links are to the usual stuff, coffee and stuff. So, first off, right, do you recall the thrill of it all? Do you recall... I'm feeling very musical this morning. Do you recall that there was a conference that was being held by the government, like an LGBTQI hands, knees and bumps and daisy people, let's get everybody round the world round a table conference, which was a waste of bloody time anyway. But do you remember there was, about 18 months, 2 years ago, and then the kerfuffle occurred about conversion therapy bill. Now, for those of you that have seen American Horror Story Asylum, you will know that conversion therapy used to be very real. For what they put the woman through in that particular television program is a good example. Obviously not quite so grim and gruesome as the American Horror Story, but there was times when it was horrific, electric shocks and, you know, all sorts of horrible medicine and stuff, and making people vomit and look at pictures of naked men. It was the most horrendous of things, you know, up there with with some of the worst things people have ever done to each other. So conversion therapy is a really serious thing. It was a really serious thing from our perspective here in the UK. Alan Turing forced to take Lupron till he grew breasts, and then he killed himself. So it is serious, right? Okay, conversion therapy is serious. However, we dealt with this a long time ago, and nobody in this country is advertising conversion therapy and exploring, you know, gently with somebody their sexual orientation is not seen by many as conversion therapy, and some people are uncomfortable to begin with. We know that that's true because so many of us spent so long in the closet, right? So conversion therapy is a thing, but it's something that we knew very well about gay people. And what happened was, before this conference was about to go on, is that they started rattling on about a gay conversion bill. There was a group of lunatics working with the government who wanted to put gender identity in there as well. So questioning somebody's gender identity would mean that you would be actually practicing conversion and would be liable to the full thrust of the law. So people went, you must be joking, right? Okay, gender identity, right? No, because gender identity doesn't exist. Remember that. It was invented in 19 whatever it was by John Money with his weird experiments. So the toys were thrown out of the pram with much violence by the usual suspects: LGBT Consortium, Foundation, Stonewall, you know, all the usual wibbling backseat driver blue rinse crowd, right? And they said they weren't going to go to the conference. We'll not go to the conference. So essentially they laid that on the ground and sort of hammered the ground going, you know, I want my toys. So no, the government went, right, okay, we won't have it then. It's great. It was a moment of fantastic governmental indifference to the bleatings of these ne'er-do-wells. So they cancelled the conference. It cost millions of public money because these people wouldn't play ball and sort of really approach the subject in a way that was sensible. So that disappeared for a while. Well, here we are. That brings us to today. And over the last couple of days, people have seen, and so have I, with concern and worry, that the conversion therapy bill has once again raised its ridiculous head, popped itself over the parapet and gone, hey, look here. That's what it's done, right? So Twitter's exploded. Oh no! Oh, even with me going, what the is going on here? How are they starting this nonsense again? Because it's not just banning conversion therapy for gay people, which we effectively have done and got laws against anyway. It's put gender identity back in, right? And they're reporting it and saying gender identities going back in, and so it's now going to be for both again, right? That's what the story is. Guess what? It's not true. So, Jester News today can tell you this, that according to all sources, Remember? It's raining men. Hallelujah. It's raining. Right, according to all sources. So I went to do some digging, right? And I shot off a few emails and sent out a few messages to those that would be described, I suppose, in some circles as in the know. By that I mean they're as close to the horse's mouth there is ears. So I sat and patiently waited and diligently checked my emails and wandered about concerned and worried that we're going to do this whole kerfuffle again. And then I got a message to tell me that what you've read, because part of it was Kemi Badenoch's been sidelined by government, she's been left out of this particular project, and the project to ban gender identity conversion therapy, which doesn't exist. There's no such thing. People want to take bits off the body, try and talk them out of it. It's not madness, right? So was actually being sidelined, that Kemi was being sidelined. So turns out, gosh, guess what? It's not true. Okay? So I got a message, and I'll give you the gist of the message. No, I think I say too much, but I'll give you the gist of the message. We need to dispatch the notion that Kemi has been sidelined and number 10 has taken over on conversion therapy. This is categorically untrue. I'll say it again for those at the back. This is categorically untrue. This is as close to the horse's mouth as you can get. Right? Okay, so this is categorically untrue. It's great, isn't it, when people reach out? What it's saying is that, well, that they're going to move forward with some kind of legislation. Now, what the great analogy they've used here is the analogy of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee in South Africa. So what they're saying is the South African Truth and Reconciliation Committee, which dealt with apartheid in retrospect, i.e. they didn't go for huge amounts of persecution, it was about truth and reconciliation. And what this will be, this legislative process for this new conversion therapy bill, is that they will publicly air all issues and expose those who seek to do such harm to the vulnerable. Right? Now, I read from this that this pre-legislative scrutiny will be for gender ideology what the Truth and Reconciliation Committee was for apartheid. So what we're saying is here that we're going to clear the bleachers, we're going to clear the decks, right? We're going to clear the decks and we're going to take a look and we're going to look at it in detail and we're going to make sure that whatever it is that happens and is done right. Because the real situation here is that if you want to put a gay conversion therapy ban in place, then the first thing that you have to ban is gender identity ideology and the idea of trans altogether, because that is the conversion therapy. So listen up, folks. I'm heartened by this, right? Okay, and it's as close to the horse's mouth as you can get. So I'm heartened by this, and you should be too. There's going to be real scrutiny. This is what I think is going to happen, and what I get from this message. And there's no two ways about it. That the idea of trans itself and non-binary is conversion therapy for gay and lesbians. It's that simple. It is conversion therapy. So take heart. Right? Take heart. Please do. So I wanted to leave you with that little bit of good news today on the Monday before I potter off and do other things. I don't think there was anything else. If anything else comes up, I'll let you know in the next couple of days. But from this perspective, what the format here, what we're saying is, and please do share as much as possible, Kemi Badenoch has not been sidelined at all. The story is wrong. There will be scrutiny that will look at it very, very closely indeed. Monday, we've got big good news. Jester out!